pretty damn funny. I know. That's good stuff. I'm telling you, I'm the best. I thought well, hell, if they don't let kids in it, here you go, baby.
Yeah. Go, guys, go. There you go. Good start, boys. Here we go. Here we go.
Baker there to gather in, so there's one out. Now stepping into the box, the additional hitter. And Bergen announced last night as one of the two co-MVPs in 2000.
Bryson Baker leading things off. We welcome you to Osceola County Stadium, Conference USSSA Championship Men's Major Division. And Baker retired. Greg Connell down the first base line. Extra bases into the corner. Baker has gone all the way to third. He has a triple.
Stand-up triple as he bangs that one into the right field corner. So the first run of the game, 75 feet away, and now stepping into the box into the left-handed hitting catcher, number 16, B.J. Falk.
Resmondo took game number 1 of the series, but Dan Smith has come back and taken games 2 and 3. They are the home team here in game 4. Resmondo will be the home team if there is a game 5, but if Dan Smith wins this game, they will win the conference championship here in 2010. Here's B.J. Falk, the catcher for Resmondo's specialty tank.
Good start.
Hopefully you got a chance to enjoy the awards ceremony prior to this game. We streamed that live for you last night, and we will have it archived up on USSSA.com in probably the next 48 hours or so. And we'll try to get all these games up for you as quickly as we can as well. B.J. Falk hit into right field. Robbins looking up. And that is a 2-run home run.
B.J. Falk with the blast over the wall in right field, a 2-run shot. Cannell scores in front of him, a quick 2-0 lead for Resmondo. Nobody on base, 1 out, and into the box will be the pitcher, number 19, the other co-MVP of 2010 USSSA Conference action, Andy Purcell.
So here's Andy Purcell. He's had a bit of a cold streak here in these championships. And some of it, not all that much his fault. Yesterday he hit the ball hard a couple of times, but right in the wrong spot. Rick Robertson will be along as well with us on this morning's broadcast. The championship game for the A we will have for you on this field if Dan Smith goes on to win this contest. That game's scheduled for 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Andy Purcell drawing a walk off of Gino Buck. And so that brings up Dennis Ruley.
Come on, work. We got one here, work.
Move around, guys. Move around. Close those holes.
Go, Tito, come on.
Backhanded, Dal Beggs over to second, getting the force. And Rulli aboard on a fielder's choice. Junior, normally the leadoff hitter, he's been moved down the lineup for this contest. Batting sixth.
Let's go, we need this one, let's go. Freeze them up.
By the way, EWS shirts and logos. The squad awaiting. It could play against either Woodlawn Jean Shop or AJS. Those three battling it out in the losers bracket. So shirts and logos taking on AJS. They won it by a run, 18-17 yesterday. And of course, we apologize for not being able to get you that game, but we needed a little bit of extra time to make sure we were set up to record last night's banquet. 2 on, 2 out after DiDonatis draws a walk, and here's Brian Rainwater.
And that's a base on balls for DiDonatis. Now 2 on, 2 outs. Ball 1, Brian Rainwater.
And Rainwater hit it on the ground, fielded, and tossed over to Thede. And that retires the side. Resmondo only able to score 2 in the first. We go to the bottom of the first. Dan Smith coming to the plate for the first time in this contest.
Thomas, fight.
Start, boys. Start, come on.
Win the inning, boys, come on. Go to our side, let's go.
Go have some fun.
So now we'll go to the bottom of the first and 2 up for Dan Smith.
I saw you.
Come on, boys, come on, come on.
Play our best to start the day. Let's go.
Let's go. Wag, press, fight.
Play our best to start the day right now. Come on. Let's go. Oh, let's go here.
Psycho, where's your weight? You shot Sandy. All right, here we go.
Let's go, guys, come on.
Rick Robertson joining me now here in the bottom of the first. What a game we got, Rick, today.
Yes, indeed. It's live at Osceola Heritage Park. Back on field 2, the A, we have Jean Shop taking on Woodlaw. That winner will take on AJS. The winner of that takes on our undefeated EWS shirts and logos. And over at the B, they're playing at Fortune Road. Undefeated team over there is Dark Side Taja. But this is major softball. Dan Smith versus Resmondo. Dan Smith up 2-1. They win this one, the series is over, and they'll meet each other at Men's Major World Series, 3rd week of September at ESPN Wide World of Sports.
Wegman will lead things off for Smith.
Let's go, Hall of Fame, Harry. Call a game. Shut up. Right in.
Come on, you guys, have some fun out there.
Resmondo will be missing one of their key components, Jeff Wallace. Had to go into the hospital last night for heat exhaustion.
Wegman into the corner.
Rainwater just run out of room out there. Unable to make the grab. Run right into the railing.
Well, the temperatures certainly have been warm, as you would expect here this time of year.
Yeah, we had KJ from Logo Express had the same issue. I had to call the ambulance for yesterday. Wegman deep. Not deep enough.
So Wegman retired. Here is Brett Helmer.
Our 2010 offensive MVP for Conference USSSA, Mr. Brett Helmer.
Well, you seemed like you had a great time last night at the banquet, didn't you?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
To be able to relive all those moments online at USSSA.com. Coming up pretty shortly, I would assume in the next 48 hours, we'll have the banquet up and, of course, the conclusion of all these games as well.
2 balls, no strikes.
Good placement there. Howie Krause on the bag, getting the toss on over.
Put the Helmer shift on. Cannell playing short right field, almost directly behind Howie Krause. Able to field it and flip it over there. They're going to do the same thing, looks like, with Rick Baker on their defensive alignment. Cannell in the hole between 3 and 4. Bryson moves over to the normal second base position.
I think in some ways these athletes are happy they're playing at 9 a.m. Of course, late night last night, so I'm sure nobody really wanted to get up too early this morning, but it's a lot cooler, that's for sure. The throw is high, but Bryson Baker able to get it over to Howie Krause, and that retires the side. Quick inning. Dan Smith retired in order, 1, 2, 3. We're moving right along.
Play some D. Come on, guys. Here you go now.
Howie Krause leading off the inning with a home run, the third run of the ball game for Resmondo.
It'll take everybody a couple innings to get loose, like you were talking about late night last night. Back out here early. Of course, they were taking batting practice out in the front area. Bobby Hughes, he'll step in.
Some great watches given out last night to the members on the all-conference team.
Yes, sir. Nice watches. Fortunate enough to receive one.
Yeah.
You as well, and TR.
And congratulations, by the way, on your Tigers picking up win number 1 of the football season.
I didn't wear my purple shirt today. I thought we were going to choke in that game.
Didn't look quite as bad as my Gators did with 25 total yards of offense in the first half.
That's amazing.
They're wondering whether they could get Tebow for a 5th year.
I think Bobby was fooled on that pitch. He was about to half swing there. Thought Doc was going to have to check with Tony, see if he went around.
And he did. They appealed over to first. We got 3 umpires for this contest.
4.
Actually, 4, excuse me.
Yeah. Chuck Doc Beckwell behind the plate. Tony Walzak on first. Pride of Arkansas, Jason Oberlag at second. And Rob Mentlow.
Wow, barehanded by Del Beggs with a thrown out in time.
Bobby Hughes beat that in the ground. J.D. Jenner, he barehanded it.
Here's Mike Rhines, second baseman. Nobody out here in the second.
Right in there for strike 1.
And into left field out towards Wegman. And there's 2 on and nobody out.
Actually, they've changed up their defensive alignment. They have Wegman playing middle infield. Psycho Ronald Robbins out there with his hiked up socks. That's how you can tell he's out there in left field.
Scott Strebel, right fielder for Resmondo.
He walks. Loads him up, Bernie.
Not a good start for Dan Smith. You'd feel maybe a little bit of pressure even on them to try to win this game because they are the home team.
Yeah, and if we do go a 5th, Resmondo, as the number 1 seed, would be home team. The 2-2-1 format. All conference Bryson Baker.
He was retired to start this ball game. And he rips it. And taken by Del Beggs. That's out number 1. J.D. Genter actually at third. You know, it makes it challenging. Out of all the teams that we call, we never get a lineup for Dan Smith as we see a long home run there for Greg Cannell.
Grand Slam, co-MVP of Conference USSSA, Greg Cannell with a Grand Slam home run here in the second. Yeah, and you're right, Bernie. They change up their alignments. They don't bother to let us know, so.
Makes it a little challenging.
Actually, right now, it looks like you got J.D. Jenner at third. McCullum is at short. You got Wegman in the middle infield. Feedy at first. And Eisenhower actually playing second. Robbins in left. Baker in center. And I'm not sure who's playing right field.
Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
Oh, that's Brett Helmer, I believe, in right field. It's Scotty Brown behind the plate.
Got to bring our binoculars.
Yes, indeed.
B.J. Falk homered his first time up.
Billy Jack.
Got under that one, lifted to right, 2 away.
Now stepping to the plate, Andy Purcell, the other half of our co-MVP. Second year in a row we had co-MVPs. And Andy and Greg Cannell shared that honor this year.
Both had terrific seasons.
Absolutely. Stats were phenomenal.
Into right. Long run, fair ball off the right field wall. Andy Purcell will have a double. And the inning continues for Resmondo, who's already scored 5 here in the second.
I'm surprised a little bit. I don't see more life out of Dan Smith. When you come into this game, as we said, be able to knock him right out, win the series 3-1, and a lot of game left, but there just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of life in that dugout.
Dennis Ruley reached on a fielder's choice back in the first.
Also a member of 2010 conference USSSA all-conference team.
Got under that one, slams his bat down. Robbins has it, inning over. 5 runs scored by Resmondo. Dan Smith still looking for their first run. It's 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning.
That's it for a few, huh? Let's go, Red Team.
And a Taija Sports Flex Fit Cap. Go to TaijaSports.com, where you'll find additional items that suit your sporting needs, such as high-quality roller bags, batting gloves, and footwear. Taija Sports, where it begins.
Playing ball.
Genter flying out to Rainwater for out number 1. And that's 4 in a row, retired by Andy Purcell to start this ball game.
All conference J.D. Jenner, all conference Ryan Feedy. As I said yesterday, these two teams dominate the awards.
And finally, a base hit for Dan Smith as Thiede gets aboard.
And all conference Gino Buck, the pitcher. 1 out, 1 runner on.
Tell you, Buck had a tremendous day yesterday, efforting his team to the win, especially with his pitching. And here, he's going to hit this one off the center field wall. Buck with a double.
Right below the 410 sign. That ball's hit a long way. Straightaway center. And Bobby Hughes can't drag it down. So Smith with runners at second and third. Opportunity to score, one away. And they will mark this inning, I believe, Bernie. I believe it's going to break the ice right here.
Well, you're in trouble if you can't score with two on, both in scoring position, only one out in this game for sure. So I would concur with you on that fact. Here's Brown.
Scotty Brown injured a knee earlier in the April tournament, our Hall of Fame Classic. Kind of a tough year for him. He's on the mend, and he should be a big factor at the Men's Major World Series.
And he's going to draw a walk, so the base is loaded now for Eisenhower.
Not what Andy Purcell wanted to do, to load him up, one away. And Izzy Eisenhower carries a pretty big stick for a small fella, or smaller in stature. Andy puts him in a hole, one strike. Oh my gosh.
Struck him out.
Dialed straight back for the second out. That pitch is a tough, that knuckleball almost sidearm. And Andy put a little heat on it. And he fouled that ball straight back for a strikeout.
So the marking may be in question now. Bases loaded, but there's two away.
I'm going to be real surprised. Psycho Rhino Robbins.
Good group from the national office up early, out on the deck watching.
One ball, no strikes. On top. Nope, that was a strike. It cleared.
Robbins got under it. And Dan Smith is going to leave the maximum. Hughes making the play. And Dan Smith does not score in the first or the second. Resmondo has a chance to take advantage. They're up 7-0 as we go to the third.
The visitors up 7-0, and now coming in will be DeDonatis, Rainwater, and Krause.
Oh, it's off today.
Stay with me. Come on now.
All right, come on, get up, baby. All right.
Guys out there, stay with me now, okay? Here we go. Come on, Gino, you and me, buddy. You're the best, kid.
Come on, boys. Come on, here we go.
Come on, Coach. It's not the 7, it's the 0. Play some defense.
Stepping to lead things off for Resmondo.
DeDonatis, Rainwater, Krause for Resmondo here in the third. little extracurricular activities in between innings.
Yeah, Dow Beggs and home plate umpire Doc Beckwell, they were jawing back and forth. Beggs probably questioned the strike call, and then he didn't want to go back in the dugout, and then he followed Doc all the way over here.
DiDonatis got under this one. Long run. But the play made in right field by Helmer.
And I think they're still jawing over here. Dow Beggs out of that dugout. Right on the top step.
Rainwater's 0 for 1, grounded out to Thede.
He had a tough year health-wise as well. Had emergency appendectomy earlier in the year.
Oh, and Helmer misjudged that one in
that
right
ball.
field. He looked like he had it tracked the entire way until we saw it fly right over his head and off the right field wall.
That ball just took right off Helmer, as you said. Thought he had a beat on it. It bounces off the wall and into third, Brian Rainwater. And Howie Krause, who led off last inning with a home run, all-conference player, and will be inducted into the USSSA National Hall of Fame this year.
On the ground, this should score. No, they're going to go to home. And they got Rainwater in a rundown. And he's out. And they're going to get a double play.
Second. Double play.
Howie Krause trying to take the extra bag. Brian Rainwater caught in, but that play started with a nice job by McCullum of going home. I think Rainwater just thought he was going to score easily.
I believe so, and when he said he threw it home, they back over to third. Jenner takes it, tags him, fires over to second, and Howie gets called out on a double play. That may be the spark that Dan Smith is looking for.
So Resmondo blanked in the top of the third. It's 7-0. Resmondo on top of Smith, trying to force a fifth and decisive game.
Come on, boys, come on.
Bottom of the lineup, McCullum with a base hit under the glove of Dennis Ruley.
Brett hustles into second.
And now we'll see Wegman for the second time today. Andy Purcell retired the first 4 in this lineup in order. That's a challenging feat to accomplish.
Oh, yeah, especially in this slow pitch game. Wegman, of course, all conference every year. Our 5th year, and he's been all conference all 5 years. Offensive MVP last year in 2009. Ranked as one of the top 2 players in the country. That ball's gone. It's deep. And Wegman right over the 330, about 364 over that left field wall, high and deep. It's gone. So Dan Smith breaks the ice. 2 runs are in on the 2-run home run from Brian Wegman. Brett Helmer. Nobody out, nobody on. And we are in the bottom half of the third. Didn't like the call. Did not like that call. You don't see Brett Helmer say anything. Yes, sir.
Helmer with a home run. Seven to 3. Dan Smith finally getting on the board here in the third inning. Rick Baker 0 for 1. And Baker has a gapper. This one goes all the way, almost out to the wall as we see Baker getting a double. And so that brings up J.D. Genter, 0 for 1. He flew out to left. And to left field, Rainwater going to track it down. Baker rounds third. He'll score the 4th run of the ball game for Dan Smith. As Genter has a single. 5 in a row have come to the plate. All 5 have reached. And Thedy's 1 for 1. He singled and was left stranded third. Dan Smith left the bases loaded in the bottom of the second. What a shot there for Thedy. Here's Buck. The pitcher doubled his last time up. And that one through the glove of DiDonatis. That's rare to see him commit an error. So Buck is on second. Here's Brown, who walked his first time up. Brown with a base hit. That scores Buck. And it's 7-7 as Dan Smith has scored 7 here in the third. And Resmondo still looking to record their first out here in the bottom of the third. Eisenhower now coming to the plate.
Izzy rips it. Got a score from the backfield in the A, Bernie. 29-21. Woodlaw leading over Gene Shop. Was 1 out away from a 15-run rule, and 9 runs came in for Gene Shop. So we got a heck of a game.
Wow. And the winner of that one is going to face AJS. And the winner of that one, EWS shirts and logos.
If Smith were to win this game, then we'll move the championship of the A in here and stream that live.
To right, Scott Strebel tracking it down. That's the first out recorded. Brown advancing to second.
I mentioned at the end of the inning when Smith turned that double play, that might be the spark they were looking for, and wow, 7 runs are in.
Here's Robbins. And Smith is batted all the way around here in the third, and there's still only 1 out. Yeah, this is going to make it 2. Howie Kraus in foul territory. And so it's McCullum who started off the inning with a double, trying to keep this inning alive. But this has certainly got to fire up Dan Smith, the fact that they're right back in this ball game. They're the home team, and we're basically back to an even slate here.
Yeah, they kind of drug through the first 2 innings. First 4 batters were retired, and now 7 runs in the bottom of the third. 7-7. 7s are wild.
They are. McCullum going for it all, and he has it. A 2-run home run. His second run scored personally of the inning.
That pushes Smith to a 2-run lead. 9 runs are in. Looking to do double figures here in the third.
Just foul for Wegman. He had a home run in this inning. 1 for 2.
Championship teams in each bracket, majors, A and B, all receive a nice sponsors trophy. In fact, if Smith were to win this game, I'll have to, or if they're pretty far ahead getting towards the end, I'll have to go downstairs and put it on the golf cart. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah?
It's beautiful. Beautiful trophy. All 3 get the exact same thing. When they're crowned 2010 Conference USSSA champions.
Wegman under that one. Rainwater has it. Inning over, but look at Dan Smith. They were behind 7-0 as they began the bottom of the third. They're up by 2 now, 9-7 with 3 innings complete.
They get 9 runs on 8 hits. They get home runs from Wegman, Helmer, Peavy, and McCollum. And so now we go to the top of the 4th, and Resmondo will come to bat trailing by 2. Due up, Hughes, Grimes, and Streeting.
Good luck, brother. Good luck.
did tell Steve that he left the gate open.
And the gate was open for Rainwater as well there, getting a base hit.
Mike Rhines.
Or excuse me, Bobby Hughes.
Yeah, Bobby Hughes is
leading off with a base hit.
Number 7, center fielder in your program.
Here's Mike Rhines. He was listed as the starting second baseman. Probably just trying to give Greg Connell maybe a little rest in between innings as they retire Hughes and Rhines aboard on a fielder's choice.
We have a defensive change for Dan Smith. It's Greinert behind the plate. I think he came in last inning, pinch ran for Scotty Brown.
Scott Strebel at the plate with one away. It's certainly been a long weekend as far as the warmth is concerned.
Well, as we said earlier, Jeff Wallace, hospital last night, heated exhaustion. KJ from Logo Express, same issue.
Liner for Strebel, out number 2.
Helmer's moved in to second. It's probably Eisenhower now back, moved out to right. As I said, Granite's behind the plate. Bryson Baker. Faced some major health problems at the end of last year. Thought that maybe he was stricken with some cancer issues, but he became quick inning burn.
After a single by Hughes, they're retired 1-2-3. And is this the opportunity Smith needed to take advantage? They're up 2. They have a chance to add to their lead in the bottom of the 4th.
Come on, Helmer. You fight, JD. Come on, same as last inning. Let's go. 9 more. Got a big chance. Got a good chance. 9 more. 9 more. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, 9 more. Another inning. Another 9 innings.
Stepping in to lead things off, the second baseman, number 44, Brad Helmer.
Come on, Forrest. Do the order again. Let's go.
All right, Dan Smith up 2, bottom of the 4th.
Brett Helmer will lead it off. Smith blanked in the first and second. Resmondo blanked in the third and fourth.
And a walk issued to Helmer. So he's gotten on board for the second time in this ballgame. He had a home run in the third, grounded out in the first. And Rick Baker now at the plate. He's 1 for 2, doubled and scored in the third inning.
It's a score.
Again, a score update coming in. We'll get it for you as soon as we hear it. Woodlaw and Gene Shop battling for the right to move on and take on AJS. And back-to-back walks given up by Andy Purcell. That brings up J.D. Genter. He is 1 for 2. He singled and scored the last inning. Dan Smith up by 2. Down the left field line. This one is going to stay fair off the left field wall. Helmer's going to come around to score. Baker is going to hold at third. And Genter has a double. And so here's Thede with 2 in scoring position, 11-7. Oh, excuse me, only 10-7. They sometimes get a little antsy on the scoreboard here at Osceola County Stadium. They've already tacked up the 11th run. Well, they'll get one here for sure. And they're going to get 3 of them. A 3-run home run. And there's 4 in for Dan Smith here in this inning. It's 13-7. You know, you just always got to trust T.R. Brockwell helping out today on the broadcast, doing a terrific job. Matt O'Hara on vacation, taking the weekend off. Spending some time with his bubbles. Here's Buck. And with TR in command, we haven't missed a beat. Woodlaw, Gene Shop still battling for the right to take on AJS. Here's Brown. Brown's 1 for 1 with a walk. Buck, by the way, has reached base for the 3rd time in this ball game, and that was nearly a double play. Really able to put Brown on a fielder's choice. There's 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th.
All right, Bernie got a score from over at the B. Elite 29, Watanabe 14. So Elite's going to take on Darkside Tizer for the championship. That's a base hit by Eisenhower. So that's what, 13-7 in favor of Dan Smith, who started off zip, 1 and 2. And then he's put up 9 in the 3rd, 4 so far this inning.
Tizer doing a terrific job helping out as the uniform supplier this year. I think they took care of all the umpires with their apparel.
Yeah, the umpires all purchased their new Tizer apparel. And they'll be doing some nice things at the World Series for them. New batter in, Scott Kirby, number 10.
Kirby's going to bat in the place of Robbins. And he's thankful that he didn't get doubled up there.
He's got plenty of speed. Scott Kirby, one of the nicest gentlemen in the game. Dad and them used to be in charge of Softball Kingdom. Streamed a lot of games for us. Scott was at the banquet with his lovely wife and son. Cute little fella.
Here's McCullum. He's 2 for 2, doubled and scored in the third, and had a home run as well.
And Scott had some health issues with his, I don't know if it was his elbow, his arm anyway, was messed up.
Hit to center. Bob Hughes has it, inning over. Dan Smith scores 4, but they're still up 6. It's 13-7. Resmondo is trying to fight off elimination here.
Due up in the top of the 5th inning for Resmondo. It'll be Cannell, Polk, and Purcell.
Top of the 5th, 13-7. Resmondo is trying to fight off elimination. Greg Connell. Tripled and scored in the first, had a home run in the second. Slow roller. One away.
And Cannell with the ground ball to short. McCollum, the nice pickup, and Ryan Peavy, the nice dig of the throw of the dirt. They get Cannell for the first out of the inning. That brings up BJ Falk.
So Cannell. Retired, here's BJ Falk. 1 for 2. And there's a base hit for BJ Falk, his second hit of the ball game. Head over into right field.
And that's a base hit to right field for BJ Falk. So a runner over for the pitcher number 19, Andy Purcell.
Andy Purcell starting to get out of that slump that he was in. Walked in the first, doubled in the second, so he's reached base twice. And he has a base hit into right field.
Resmondo looking for any kind of spark to stay in this game here. A lot of runs are being scored on the backfield in the A. I still don't have a final from there. Championship has gotten started in the B. Dark Side Tizer versus Elite. Both teams have issues. They have flights at 1 p.m.
Obviously, they didn't expect to be there.
I guess neither one of them did, so that's going to be exciting. If Elite were to win and they got to go,
Ruley saw him make some terrific defensive plays.
he's a battler. I'll tell you what, he plays well. Runners at first and second, one out. We're getting late into the game here.
And the temperature's starting to heat up now that it's 10 o'clock Eastern time.
Uh-oh.
Back off the pitcher. And look at that. Tag the bag and toss it over to first. How about that for an inning-ending double play?
Wow, off Buck. Over to second, step on the bag, flip to first, double play.
And Resmondo has been blanked for the third consecutive inning.
How many times in the history of Resmondo's games have you ever seen that?
We go to the bottom of the fifth. It's 13-7. Dan Smith leading.
Stand on it, let's go. Wags, wags. No, we don't. Come on, let's do the right thing, man. Let's go to work. Let's go. Come on, boys. Come on, fight, fight. Come on, Waggles. Come on, Waggles.
Stepping in to lead things off, will be the middle infielder number 12, Ryan Wegman.
Come on, boys. Come on, red team. Here we go. Yes, sir. That's down.
Wegman going into second with a double, ripped a line drive right inside the chalk line to lead off the bottom of the fifth. A lot of zeros on the board. Bernie told you at the end of last inning, Resmondo blanked in the third, fourth, and fifth. Dan Smith was blanked to begin the game in the first and second. 13 for Smith, 7 for Resmondo. And Brett Helmer steps to the plate.
And I'm sure you can just sense Dan Smith starting to feel it now. The fact that they are inching closer to this championship. And in some ways, this is a critical inning for them. If you can extend your lead to maybe 10, it makes things start to get awfully difficult for Resmondo to work their way back in, especially with the fact that Dan Smith is the home team. Not saying, of course, it can't be done.
And you only have 6 outs left if you're Resmondo. So, you know, exactly, Bernie, 10 runs. You know, I think that number, just as you said, 10 runs is probably going to be awfully, awfully difficult.
Especially with the fact they've only scored 7 combined so far.
Exactly. Rick Baker, center fielder, all-conference player, defensive player of the year for 2009. Matt Peso from GTL picked up the defensive player of the year this year for Conference USSSA. Baker to Cannell to Howie Krause for the first out of the inning.
Helmer holding at second.
J.D. Jenner. He wore a purple shirt just like I did last night. We had quite a few remarks.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's from Georgia. He probably isn't cheering for LSU, though.
You might have to put your, well, I guess your purple shirts still work for you. You guys got the W. That's all that matters.
That's it.
It's called swinging out of your shoes.
Ooh. That ball down the left field line. And that's not rainwater out there in left. That's Strebel. Strebel now playing left field. Chased it a long way. Must be having a marathon still going on back there on the field too, because we're already 40 minutes behind.
Evening the count up. Genter 2 for 3 in this game. This one hit into right field. And there was a gigantic gap over there.
They had J.D. played the pull all the way. He hits that to right field, and B.J. finally chases it down, but not before J.D. Jenner gets to third with a triple. That lead is extended to 8, Bernie.
Got another update coming in. Here's Thiede. 3 for 3, 2 singles, and a home run. On the ground, great backhand by Kraus. It's going to score another run, however. Genter comes in to score, out number 2 on the ground out by Thiede, who's retired for the first time in this contest. 2 away for the pitcher, Buck. And we got an update that Woodlaw has advanced. Up next, they battle against AJS. And to right field, a base hit for Buck. And Buck to second with a double. Scott Brown 1 for 2 with a walk. On the ground, Ruley over to first, inning over. Dan Smith, their least productive inning since the first and the second, scoring only 3. But their lead is now 9. It's 16-7. Resmondo down to their final 6 outs in this contest.
USSSA is the largest multi-sport athletic association in the world. Headquartered in beautiful Osceola County, Florida, USSSA has now grown to 3.7 million members, competing in 14 sanctioned sports. From fast-pitch softball, basketball, taekwondo, and golf to being one of the largest youth baseball programs in the country, USSSA has a sport for you. Log on to USSSA.com to find out how you can take part.
Play the best and play USSSA.
DeDonatis leading things off here in the 6th at 16-7.
Bernie, I believe I can get about a half inning left, and then I've got to get things ready for the back. If Smith hangs on here and wins this game, we'll move the A championship and F game here into the stadium, stream them live. So you used the number 10. They are a 9 ahead, so kind of sitting on the bubble.
Yeah.
We'll see what. Resmondo never panics if they're 20 behind or 2 behind.
They haven't scored a run in an inning since the second, where they scored 5. They definitely could put up a big number. The conundrum at the end of the day, in all honesty, for me at least, is realizing the fact that Dan Smith is the home team.
It's always been
so
key.
Even if you put up 9 runs in between here in the 7th, you got to probably be putting up almost 15, I would think, to have some semblance of a chance of winning.
Junior shoots one to the middle. He's on first to lead it off.
It's his first hit of this ball game.
That's very unusual, and also the fact that he's not leading off. Here comes Gene Shop. They had a nice tournament. That's another thing. They'll be looking for their failed bats that I'll have to go get out of Steve's office. Steve's here, though. Oh, my.
Rainwater popped up.
That was Greg Hartwick that came in to pinch hit.
Me.
I'm sorry, Bernie, didn't tell you. That was a home run in an elevator shaft. Here comes my ride. So I'm going to go take the golf cart and go to work, fellas.
All right. We'll
Bernie.
see you down on the field, maybe back for the A.
Yep, looking to come back.
Or possibly Game 5.
Could have one here. We'll see. All right, Bernie, TR,
Thanks, Rick.
thanks.
Rick Robertson, head of the umpires here, also joining us on our broadcast. We're always glad when he can stop by, adding some color to what's happening. Again, our schedule right now, if this result holds, we'll have the final of the A between EWS Shirts and Logos and either AJS or Woodlaw. But we're still going to be a ways away from that. It would be a scheduled start time of 11, but my guess is it wouldn't start at least until 11:30 as we see a fly out to left field for the second out. So we might just play for you the banquet because we need it to be recorded in its entirety as well, just so we can post it on USSSA.com. Gene Shop making their way into the stadium after a very solid outing and a great appearance in this tournament. They'll be back, of course, for the men's major. We'll be back with outstanding coverage as well of that from the stadium. So you can mark your calendars. We'll be right here on USSSA.com. On the ground, gloved by the first baseman, Thede. That's the inning. It's 16-7 as we head to the bottom of the sixth. Dan Smith looking to win the conference championship here in 2010.
Get him going here, Dolly.
Come on, let's run, sir. Let's go. Let's go. Good hair, Wade.
Come on, boys. Come on, Red Team.
Right where we want to be in the order, fellas. Right where we want to be in the order. Come on, you guys. You got to go a little bit. Come on, let's go, Ed.
Dan Smith is 6 runs away from the championship right here. Or 3 outs by Resmondo, whatever way they would like to look at it. 16-7 our score here in the 6th. It's a high drive and gone. Home run to start off the inning. Eisenhower with a home run. Robbins batting for the 3rd time in this ball game. Kirby batted in his place in the 4th. On the ground, base hit. That'll bring up McCullum. Dan Smith 5 runs away from victory. McCullum is going to make him 3 runs away from victory. And it's 19-7 Dan Smith. And we're back to the top of the lineup in Wegman. Of course, we'll try to bring for you the trophy presentation immediately following this game if the result holds. Right now for Resmondo, I think it might take a miracle comeback to force that 5th game. Wegman. And there's the 4th run of the inning. And Dan Smith is 2 runs away. And if Dan Smith can do it here in the bottom of the 6th, it will be the 2nd time in this 5-game series that Resmondo was run ruled. Helmer gets a walk. And so the game-winning run is at the plate. Here's Rick Baker, 20-7. A home run would win it here for Dan Smith. Glove by Kraus to second for 1, and that's the first out of the inning. Helmer taken off the field. Baker aboard on the fielder's choice. Here's Genter. And ripped in. What a play there for DiDonatis. Out number 2. So it's down to Thede for a chance for Dan Smith to win it here in the 6th. And Rector on his way out. Maybe a chance for some motivation here with Thede at the plate. One of Rector's conferences. Certainly not the tournament Resmondo had hoped for. And Thede is going to get an intentional walk. And here's Gino Buck. He's 3 for 3 with a walk. He's doubled 3 times in this contest. They're going to send a pinch runner to first. It's 20-7, Dan Smith. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a break between this game and the championship game for the A bracket, just because AJS and Woodlaw playing right now for the right to take on EWS shirts and logos. That's happening out on field 2. But the championship game will be moved here to this field. As that one eats up Ruley, and he doesn't have a play. Bases loaded. Game-winning run is now on second. As Gino Buck aboard on the air. And Dan Smith has batted all the way through the lineup here in the 6th. Brown is 1 for 2 with a walk. And Andy Purcell is going to walk in a run. And here's Eisenhower, started off this inning with a home run. The game-winning run is on third. Dan Smith. And there's a base hit. And Dan Smith is the champions in the Conference USSSA 2010 Major Division. They take the best out of 5 series by a 3-1 margin as they win game number 4 by a final of 22-7. Their second run rule over Resmondo in this Conference USSSA Championship. Stay with us. We have the award ceremony coming up, and then, of course, we'll have the A Championship game coming your way. But, of course, still waiting for those 2 teams to have made it through. AJS and Woodlaw playing right now for the right to take on EWS shirts and logos. We'll have the coverage of the award ceremony for you live, and then, of course, we will probably show you a replay of last night's banquet in between now and when EWS shirts and logos and AJS hits the field. That'll do it here. Coming up next, the award ceremony, a final. Dan Smith, the champions in 2010. They win it 22-7.
So the 2 teams go through their final post-game conferences. These 2 teams will be the number 1 and number 2 seeds at the USSSA World Series. The World Series will be getting underway at Disney on September 22nd. So in just 2 short weeks, they will these two teams will be back on the field, each vying for the most coveted.
Where are you?
In all of softball in the World Series.
Oh, okay.
But now, as their meeting on the mound breaks up,
All right.
Warren Mellon and Rick Robertson are about to present the 2010
Yeah, right now.
USSSA Conference Championship Trophy
Bye.
to the men from Dan Smith Manosis. So as they take their team picture with their conference championship trophy, once again, congratulations to Dan Smith Manosis, your 2010 champions. And ladies and gentlemen, just to keep you informed of the goings on the Outer Diamonds, the 8 o'clock game this morning, Woodlawn defeated Gene Shop 37-28. So we're down